1 in 4 people in the world will be affected by mental or neurological disorders at some point in their lives. But according to the National Institutes of Health, fewer than half of Americans living with mental illnesses are getting treatment. A new survey finds that stigma associated with mental illnesses may be one of the reasons. Here to explain and to talk about a new creative approach to help reduce stigma against those with mental illnesses are Dr. Adam Savitz, Harvard-trained psychiatrist and director of clinical research in neuroscience at Janssen and Mackenzie Drazan, mental health advocate who's been personally impacted by stigma. Doctor, what is it that people don't understand about mental illnesses that may be leading to stigma against those who struggle with the diseases?
That we think that people don't understand the biological basis of mental illness. That mental illness is similar to physical illnesses. There are causes, that there's dysfunction, that the parts of the brain, the neurons, which are the cells of the brain, are not communicating or otherwise not functioning well. And it's important that people understand that mental illness is similar to physical illness, that there are treatments, and that it's important to talk about these illnesses and to have an understanding of what is the basis of these illnesses.
Doctor, what did the survey reveal about people's views of mental illnesses and the stigma associated with them?
That the survey we conducted showed that most people, 92% of people, feel there is stigma around mental illness, that this stigma gets in the way of people seeking help, that people don't want to have a record of mental illness in their medical record, and that by having a better understanding of the biological basis of mental illness that's similar to physical illnesses such as diabetes and high blood pressure, that we can reduce the stigma and have better conversations around mental illness.
Doctor, why do you believe it's difficult for those who struggle with mental illnesses to get help they need?
That many people with mental illness feel it's a character flaw, a weakness, that they can just overcome their problems on their own. But just as people cannot overcome physical illnesses, that they need to seek medical treatment, people need to seek treatment for mental illnesses, that there are effective treatments out there, but people can't get these treatments if they don't initially seek help. And these treatments are not just medication, there are also psychological treatments that can help. And that by educating not just patients, but friends and family members, that there are biological basis for these illnesses, that we can foster conversations. And we have a new program that you talked about initially, Champions of Science, the Art of Ending Stigma, is a program that both will help educate people about mental illness and stigma and how to talk about mental illness more in order to reduce stigma.
Thank you. Mackenzie, how do you think stigma impacts those who struggle with mental illnesses?
Stigma has a huge impact on those who struggle with mental illness, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that people don't talk about mental health and mental well-being. And so if you're someone struggling, you don't really know when the right time to reach out for help is. How do you even identify, what's the difference between being sad and needing extra help, maybe being depressed? And so even if you get to that point of saying, okay, I think I need to get help, then people can be afraid to reach out for help or to know where to start looking because we don't talk about it, and that causes people to be afraid.
Does society help overcome stigma?
One thing society can do is by starting these conversations, and one of the ways we can do that is by submitting art and expressing our feelings around mental health at the artofendingstigma.com. And when you can submit some expressions of what mental health means to you, if that's a video or telling stories, and you can do that, and that will really help start these conversations around how can we be more supportive as a community and be there for each other.
Mackenzie, can you tell us more about Champions of Science, the Art of Ending Stigma?
Champions of Science, the Art of Ending Stigma is a campaign where we can use this universal language of art to help teach each other about how we can be more supportive. And by submitting these artistic expressions, you can start the conversation around mental health. And that's something that's so important because in my case with my family, my sister was struggling. And when she first reached out for help, we had no idea where to start looking for care. And that's because we don't talk about it. And as a sister, I had no idea, what do I say, what do I do, how can I be there for Shelby? And if we can start talking more about mental health, then we'll know what to do, and there won't be this fear and being locked and not doing anything because we're scared to do the wrong thing. So by starting these conversations, we can learn how to be there for each other.
I'd like to thank you both for taking the time this morning to talk with us. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.